Monk fruit extract is barely making my coffee drinkable. It's mainly a caffeine thing now. Oh, and a regularity thing. Coffee helps you poop. But so I ran my dwarf game last night and got into a little spat with my players in mid game, which I don't recommend. Usually I just go, just let flow, let flow. But it was completely about a meta thing, and that stuff really hits a nerve. It's about this 5-room dungeon mentality and mathing the metagame. They finally hit it. They went back. Okay, this is the second time they do 3 4-ways into what is a 20-room section of dungeon. That's it. 3 4-ways. And the last time they fell back, they probably could have pushed it, but they had to replace some characters and stuff. So I don't like the 5-room dungeon. People tend to focus, and what it ends up doing is just a lot of banter at the table and not a lot of declaring actions or anything. For me, it's kind of boring. And if I get bored as a DM, I find other things to do. But this was their first major quest thing, and they finally completed it. But we had one voice of the party who was ready to leave. We need to go back. We need to go back. We need to go back. Then come back. And I was like, man, I'm gonna roll restocks. And it was all about getting the treasure back and hopefully leveling, then come back and completing the quest and maybe level again. But if we level, we can't double level and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, mathematically, that's not a possibility. That is totally not a possibility when you're playing a multi-class character. Just not. Unless it's the Horde of Smog or a huge ancient worms dragon. That's not a mathematical possibility, even at lower levels. Because it's not. Unless you're doing pure Monty Hall and you're handing out 10 and 30,000 gold at a time, which is crazy. For my guys, 1,100 gold piece haul out of a treasure pot is whoa. And they actually got good magic items this time. Which the key was they hadn't been searching properly. But one of the guys, they drank out of a magic fountain, and one guy got true sight for like an hour and 20 minutes. So everything was solved. So there was no missing. All hidden things revealed, blah, blah, blah. I think I'll go over true sight here in a second. Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to do a OSR musings on spells. But I'm just venting a little bit. I haven't wrote my blog recap because I'm running another game at 10 a.m., 10:30 this morning. Yeah, I'm running games at 10 in the morning, folks, at an open table, 1 day a week. And as my other campaigns go their route, then I'm going to just run one giant open table group on Roll20 with a bunch of people. Different days, different times, different groups. I know, and it's not a world I'm drawing up from scratch. It's just these regional. I like doing regional stuff. Otherwise, it would be a Greyhawk campaign, but I don't feel like tinkering and shoehorning all this stuff into Greyhawk. So it's just whatever, the realm or whatever. We'll keep it generic because it's open. And that falling back just to wrench the numbers, and I called it out. And then there was the wholehearted defense of it. Well, yeah, it's called playing to win. I'm like, oh my God, I hate it. And I told him I hate it. I hate the metagaming. I hate it. Just play the game. Try to make it like the first time you played, and but that pure mechanical part takes away from other stuff. And when they completed their quest, I improvised what they saw. So they hear the hammers of Thanadur, Morden, if you want to prefer, hammering, and the lights lined up, and the most expensive piece of jewelry they've ever found faded away like Thanos snapped his fingers. Just like the two statues faded away, and the anvil faded away. Like, oh shoot, that was money. And I'm like, oh, you guys are killing me. And they see the ghostly outline. Actually, I got a little more theatrical in the description. I am not going to do it right here. I need people for synergy to do that. I need synergy from people and players to really do my room descriptions as I DM. But they saw the ghostly image of the hero they looted, and then his helm faded away because one of the guys was wearing it. He took it. They didn't return it to the tomb, so it faded away. And then the ghostly cleric that was nearly a saint, like a step below saint, that they looted his tomb, he faded away. But they saw, not faded away, but they saw that he had a mace on his side that they given to an NPC. It faded away before their eyes. What they done to the dead in the Dwarven Hall was being reflected in the afterlife, right? Trying to trigger that RP moment because they're a bunch of dwarves, and the replacement characters were all clerics of some sort. So now we got 3 clerics, an acolyte, and 2 clerics of Thanadur in the group. So now they cleanse the temple, and then the cleric of Grenadar who died, I don't know, whatever, the Clangeddon parody, right? He was there, but he was dressed in not his awesome plate mail that he had before. He was in the brigandine they buried him in. The cheap shit they buried him in. So he was in the cheap shit that they buried him in. I think I probably should have said he's wearing the super expensive holy symbol that you guys used up, but I didn't. And so I was giving a nod. If you want to look, if your character wants the after story to be cool, then invest in it. The other dudes, at least he's got plate mail on. And then I let a ghostly image of stairs leading up to the Dwarven halls. So Zebulon got to go on to the hereafter alongside a Dwarven hero and joining the ranks of a hero, right? Well, one of the things, the pulpy things that we wanted about the game, or our games, we want to be the hero or whatever. And then they heard the hammers, and all that stuff faded away. And I could hear some of the buttholes puckering up, losing that treasure. 1,500 gold piece holy symbol. Ah! But then I described the completion of a major quest. And I have never really done a lot of that in my games. I take it back. I have. But never epic stuff. I think it's fun. And then they could feel it wash over. The curse is lifted, and they could physically feel it. The unholy water fountain in the other room returns to being a holy water vessel that they can make their own holy water in. And the whole temple is consecrated. My consecration rules in my game are expensive. So that was a big boon. They don't have an altar there, but the whole place is consecrated. And all the undead dropped. So any undead, and you hear wailing in the halls. And with the true sight, I allow him to see spirits, not undead. This spectral dwarves that are walking around lost, kind of like a psychic or some of necrovision would see in a hospital or a mortuary. He sees people walk around, and they fade away. They're all at rest. And so they kind of, a couple of the guys I think appreciated. I didn't get a lot. I heard one or a couple sounds that sounded like someone was like, "Oh, that's impressive. That's kind of cool. Yeah, you guys accomplished something noble and good." And then a big tome falls down, because that's what the module called for, and I didn't feel like editing that out. But buddy, when that extra level tome for clerics lays there, now you got 3 clerics in the party who can use it. They're like, oh my gosh! I figured they might fall to infighting during treasure division. And I think I'm not going to do treasure division between sessions because it just didn't happen last time. Guys had 2 weeks and not a single person did it. Had a guy absent because of work issues, and I had to make these picks for him. Which, I mean, I'm guessing that was what he wanted, but okay. And that's how that went last night. But the metagaming part, ugh, kills me, guys. I can't stand it. It pisses me off. I think it's a lost art for the role play thing, and I was always a 75 physical role, 25% role playing guy forever, and now I think I'm a 50-50. If there's no action and a lot of stuff like that, because I want it pulpy and serialized and fast paced, and everybody and getting by on the touch of your on the edge of a razor. That's fun to me. Spending 40 minutes talking about the horse and drawing your path is pure agony for me. I can't stand it. But also the pure mechanical of just crunching every XP point and other stuff in the game, that bothers me too. So they actually finally got their third, and this is another thing that bugs me, and this is a minor thing with players. This is their third honeypot. They found 2 hidden vaults in the earliest levels of this dungeon, and then the orcs fled, taking the orc treasure away, and then they just got this stuff off the big bad Orcus dude. Orcus priest that is part of that moved into this defiled temple, and it was part of the reason it was cursed. And they just, dude, you just got 4 amazing magic items, and decent amount of treasure and 1,000 bonus XP, and then the math part hit the guy who was complaining about crunching it. I was like, "This is not mathematical. You have to divide all this by 2 because you're multi-class. There's no way you're going to double level." So, and that's per class. So if I'm not going to use that rule for you can't double level. You can go up 1 and 2 if you're multi-class. So you can go up basically each class can go up, but you can't double level them 1, then you lose all that XP. But mathematically, that's just not a thing that's going to happen. Like, no. So yeah, we all have pet peeves for players, and they hit a nerve. So I had a spat in the middle of a game session. I was like, I fucking hate that. Just being honest. Because I like to go back and forth with players and not 100% be in character. And I know people go, immersion. I'm like, when you got people who are metagaming, you have the immersion's out the window. You can't have immersion if you have metagaming at your table. It's gone. It's sacrificed on the altar. It's hard as cut out to make the sunrise for metagaming. I love my players. They crack me up, man. They crack me up. But the big key in that thing is the lowest level guy who's complaining. When he picked that class, he didn't realize it was such a high XP class. It's going to be like an albatross when he's a multi-class character. Was using True Seeing. It was like, they found the extra magic items. An Ion Stone, a Ring of Holiness, which the Ring of Holiness was really kind of cool. Because it's 25% immunity to level draining, and you add your wisdom bonus on all your healing. All of it. Since there's 3 clerics in the party, they're like, oh, and I don't allow double miming of spells, so you don't have multiple Cure Light Wounds. You have 1 Cure Light Wounds. That's it. You can't double mim. But I said it extends to all magic items that you're using to heal. So if you find a staff of healing or you drink a potion, you add your wisdom bonus to it, period. And it ended up going to the Acolyte, who has multiple touches for healing. So he can do multiple touches. If he can just raise his wisdom, they'll all be super happy about that. But they usually go Kami. But I put my foot down about it. I said, just roll. And that whole Kami thing went out the window. Because I know these guys, they would have normally just sat down and just assigned magic items and just said, you're out of luck, Mr. X or Mr. B. But they've gone to the pure roll old school style, and it made some things. And I never seen a person so excited to grab a potion, because there was a potion of true seeing, and the guy had just got the potion effect from that fountain, and the true sight was so awesome. He's like, I'm grabbing it. That's mine. And I'm like, awesome. You're super excited about getting a potion. I see, this is so awesome. I said, I never thought you would play a diviner top, because he's always playing a sneaky, backstabby guy. But he's been playing a lore master / thief. He's been more of a sneak, but I only get near combat. And he does more research. He's basically playing a researcher detector. And it's a role I don't think that player has ever contemplated he would play. He's not doing it intentionally, which is interesting. And he's a guy that can't wait to the hobby. Like he's in his 30s before start playing. So straight in the OSR too. They did play 5e for a while, but I think they prefer the OSR. Anyway, just some rambling, some morning coffee rambling, and I'm going to talk about true seeing here in a minute. Yeah. Later.